Did you know? I was at the post office the other day, doing what we Brits do best, and that is waiting patiently in a queue to post a package. The queue was barely moving, and people were starting to tut and look around. At this point, two little old ladies just behind me spotted something for sale on the counter. Crazy bones, so called, little plastic toys. And one of them said, "Oh, those crazy bones! You know what they are? They're just modern versions of the toys we had when we were kids. Those are knuckle bones." So-called knuckle bones are actually the ankle bones of sheep and have been used as toys for thousands of years. The ancient Greeks and Romans used to love playing with knuckle bones, and through the centuries the game has evolved into something along the lines of jacks or pick-up sticks. "Well," said the other lady, "you won't catch me wasting money on that. My grandkids aren't getting any crazy bones. That is money for old rope, a complete waste of time." Now, it's worth explaining, for those who don't know, that money for old rope is an idiom in the English language. It refers to a time when sailors would have offcuts of rope from rigging their ships. They'd sell these offcuts back on land at a profit. The implication here is that crazy bones are an unoriginal idea, being sold cynically to those who really should know better. With nothing better to do in the post office queue, this conversation got me thinking. Just how old is rope anyway? Undoubtedly, plants and vines have been used in rope-like ways for a long time, and there is some evidence dating back around 30,000 years. At the height of the last ice age, we know that rope netting was being used in Central and Eastern Europe, probably to catch birds. And the fossilized remnants of rope around 7 millimeters in diameter has been found in the caves at Lascaux. 11,000 years later, the ancient Egyptians were the first to create tools to help them make rope out of water reed, grass, papyrus, leather, or animal hair. This was really useful in creating their monuments, but also in the rigging on the ships up and down the Nile. Over the millennia, rope making spread across the world, and by the 15th century in Europe, it was most certainly a craft. Bit by bit, these craftsmen got together and created formalized rope-making workshops, also called rope walks. The length of the rope would be dictated by the length of the building in which one could make it. Rope was carefully made, plaited and counterplaited to increase its strength. This piece comes from a very famous ship, the Mary Rose. A ship like this requires up to 26 miles or 42 kilometers of rope. A few hundred years later, the Victorians had very much benefited from rope and the navy which it held together. International trade across the empire had boomed because of rope, and rope-making techniques were now more complicated and more rigorous than ever. The way the rope was weaved, the chemicals applied to it, all gave it superb flexibility, weather resistance, and strength. Indeed, rope was now a common children's toy, the skipping rope more popular than ever. Indeed, there was so much rope that it was being used as a punishment. Convicts could be sentenced to picking oakum. This is taking apart rope by hand, laborious and mind-numbing work. This is to create little strands, which are used for various applications, including sealing joints in plumbing. So, thinking about it, perhaps old rope gets a bit of a bad rep. It's a really complex and long-lived technological solution, and considering the amount of time that's gone into thinking about and creating wonderful rope, not to mention the amount of time that's gone into taking rope apart as a punishment, perhaps old rope deserves a little more respect. Perhaps it isn't quite so ropey as some people say.